Hello, this is some guy in Hawaii, and this is a quick look at the Stonethrower, a legendary Jacob's assault rifle available only from the Bounty of Blood DLC. It's a world drop in that DLC and farmable from Cormash on the Asphalt Peak map within the spa. The Stonethrower is cousin to the Clairvoyance AR from DLC 2. Actually, if you understand how gun design works in BL3, the Stonethrower is essentially a reskin of the Clairvoyance with different special components. Now, aside from an additional variable scope for the Stonethrower, both guns use almost all the same standard and variable parts. Clairvoyances utilize at least 2 or all 3 barrel accessories, while the Stonethrower always uses all 3. This actually lowers the amount of possible variants to 1920. Again, not counting scopes or, of course, anointments. Now, the key part exception is the barrel, which gives each gun its unique ability. The Clairvoyance video I did goes in depth on its explosive stickies when critting. Okay. The Stonethrower, on the other hand, ricochets a single round to a nearby enemy on both body shots and critical hits. That's part 1 of their unique ability. Part 2 is that the ricochet, if it hits another enemy, does the same damage as the hit on the original target. If we crit the main target, the ricochet does the crit damage. Body shots, ricochet, base damage. Okay, this is a frame grab of a Stonethrower shot. We killed the primary target with a crit. Note the critical indicator and the damage. Now, the target to the left was hit with the ricochet. Notice that it was not a critical hit, but took the same damage. Okay, this applies to body shots, crits from Flak's Megavore skill. Ricochet crits do the same damage. This only applies, however, to the original Ricochet. Additional primary or secondary ricochets from Amari's Indiscriminate obviously do less. Okay. Now, as with most weapons, I have included high and low figures for base damage, crit damage per shot, base DPS, and crit DPS, just like the Clairvoyance. Okay. Remember, though, that any figures for 4 projectile per shot masher variants assumes all 4 projectiles hit, and if it's crit performance, all 4 projectiles must crit to do that damage, and nobody's that good. So take those numbers with a grain of salt. Okay. I've also posted the spreadsheet to Google Docs and provide the same calculator I included with the Clairvoyance if you want to calculate performance of a particular gun and see where it ranks, okay, if you want to min-max. Now, as far as these numbers go, the differences between the high and low can be significant, especially for crit damage. Most of these don't exceed the boost from the best anointments. In general, we still want to choose a Stonethrower with a high damage anoint before we worry about parts. If we want to min-max, however, get the best performing variant with a good anointment, the calculator is there for that. Because, as with the Clairvoyance, so many variable parts, there's no real consistent combinations that give the highest performance. Okay, so calculate your crit per shot, base DPS, and crit DPS by plugging in the appropriate figures from the weapon stat card. Then compare whichever results you consider appropriate to the listed range to see where the gun ranks, okay, in the range. The critical hit bonus, by the way, should be on the stat card. Now, from my test, crit damage per shot is best for judging single shot variants, while crit DPS is best for mashers. Again, understand that in both cases, the numbers are there to compare to other similar variants and to the tables to determine which performs better exclusive of anointments. Don't expect to consistently crit and do that much damage, okay? That's what the numbers say. How does it perform in actual gameplay? Well, to be honest, my results at least have been mixed. I've messed around with it with Amara, with Indiscriminate and Ties That Bind. I've used it on Flak both as part of fadeaway and rack builds. It's fine for mobbing, but it requires some finesse. Okay, despite the guaranteed ricochet, we still need to try and crit. It's more forgiving when we fail to crit, especially with Flak and Megavore. But anytime we need to focus on a single tough target, specifically badasses, we have to crit. Body shots don't cut it. That's not surprising, but in this respect, while it does put out decent damage, it doesn't compare to the Clairvoyance. Okay, we have to crit with the Clairvoyance to get the most out of it, but when we do, we are rewarded. With the Stonethrower, taking the time and effort to crit doesn't consistently do the same amount of single or ricochet target damage to justify the reduced DPS, while spamming body shots doesn't do enough overall mobbing DPS either, at least compared to the Clairvoyance. It's a little better or perhaps easier to use on Flak with Megawar. With Amara, I definitely prefer the Clairvoyance. Explosive flickies and cryo effects are just much more effective. Now, it may just be my build. It may be the particular Stonethrowers I've used. I was hoping the Stonethrower would be an alternative to mobbing with the Clairvoyance, that I could switch between the two for different situations, but I prefer the Clairvoyance in both situations. 2 or even 3 Ricochets per advice, just 1 might bring it more in line with the Clairvoyance. That's something I would love to see. It's not a bad gun, not at all. Okay, it's just not as good as the Clairvoyance from my perspective. I'd be very interested to hear, however, if any of you have gotten different results. If you really like this gun and got to perform at a high level, let me know. And that's it. Quick as promised. Comment below. A like would be appreciated. Subscribe and hit the bell if you'd like to be notified of more content like this. Look me up when I stream on twitchtv.com/SamoGuyInHawaii. Stay safe and thanks for watching.